In this video, we're going to talk about how we log into CourseDen D2L. Those two names, by the way, are often used interchangeably at UWG. We're going to talk about the concepts of My Home versus Course Home. We're going to talk briefly about getting around inside courses in general, and then I'll give you a few tips about getting around the particular course, the EDC pre-orientation course. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in. You can use your own CourseDen login if you've established that. If you have not, use one of the generic logins that's being provided. You do have to navigate your browser to wesca.view.usg.edu, and then you can input your username and password right here and click Login. This takes us to My Home, and you remember I said earlier we're going to talk about the concept of My Home versus Course Home. Well, My Home is your sort of master home, your master dashboard for your work in CourseDen D2L. And so, you can access your master calendar, you can access sort of campus-wide news and events might be posted here. This events thing here will probably post a combination of the calendar events that are coming up in all of your classes that you're taking, all of the things you're enrolled in. Over here you always have these CourseDen D2L resources posted. Over here you access things related to your setting, like setting up your profile, which is an activity that we'll be having you do in your CourseDen module. And there's other settings as well in here that you may want to become familiar with. And we hope that you will learn more about this through the UWG online tutorials that we'll be pointing you to later on. Okay, so that's My Home. And when you're in a semester, you're going to, when you're in the middle of a semester where you've got, 2 or 3 courses that you're taking, you will have more than one course. This is just one course that's listed here right now in this example. This particular profile just has one course. But if you have multiple courses going on, you're going to see them all here under My Courses. You can expand and collapse these widgets, by the way. That's what we call these little boxes, widget boxes. And sometimes it's handy to, expand them and collapse them however you need to, but you'll get to that later. All right, so this is My Home. Now, how do we get to what I was talking about earlier, Course Home? Well, you do that by clicking on the particular course, and I warn you, it's going to look a lot like what you're looking at right now. So let's click it and see what happens. Okay, so it looks almost the same. And so then, but what you do notice is that you've got some additional elements up here that weren't in the previous on the previous page. You've also got a different widget here called Content Browser. You've got additional resources up here, like you didn't have Dropbox or quizzes in the previous window, rubrics, surveys, all that kind of stuff. So you have this whole panoply of tools up here that you'll want to be aware of. There's your email, there's the pager window, there's all kinds. These things are persistent, they stay here, and they may be useful to you. Okay, so we're inside of the course. Now what? What do you do? So I'm moving from, I've talked about the distinction between My Home and Course Home. To get back to My Home, you can click that. You click it right there, My Home, it takes you back out. To get back to a particular course home, you just click on the name of the course. Okay, so we're back inside of the particular course. You see its title right here, EDC Pre-Orientation. And that should persist as you move through the course as well. For the most part, it will stay there with you. Okay, so how do you get to the content inside of a course? Well, generally speaking, the content that the instructor has loaded will be visible through this content button. I guess that makes sense. So let me talk generally about accessing this tool. I'm going to click it, and the first thing that pops up is this Table of Contents view. And there's all kinds of things you can do. You can print and download it if you wanted to have this list and you want to handwrite on it. But this right here represents all of the visible content in this course. All of these are things in this course, and I will tell you, in this particular course, this is all of the content. There's no more than this. But in other classes that you go into, you may have all of this to do in your first, 4 weeks of the class or something like that, and they're hiding the rest of the content, so that could happen. All right, so to actually view it, though, if you actually click on, say, the first item in the list, or the the 5th item in the list, it's going to open it up in this sort of content browser, this two-paned content map view, I guess is what we want to call it. So you see that same list of content here on the left, and you can slide this over if you want to make it a little wider on the left. And then the actual content is here on the right. I'm actually having a glitch. I can't let go of this. I had to pause you guys. It would not let go of that little dragging thing. But yes, you see that double arrow, how you get that? You get that double arrow and then you can drag and change the sizing of things. So you've got your the name and the sort of hot clickable link to the content on the left, and then you have it on the right. You can flow through it using this. You can individually click things over here, or you can actually, if you want to go totally linearly and not worry about clicking over here, you can just click this arrow, this left-right arrow, and it will take you through the content. And you see it on the left how it's going down as I move to the right. You see the yellow bar hopping down, going through the content. Okay, here is a possibly, I feel like it's one of the most valuable tips I can give an online student. If you're anything like me and you come into a new course cold, it's a little bit intimidating, a little bit overwhelming to see all of this. And so what I recommend that you do is that you quickly glance at it, you read through it ever so quickly, and then you decide to close things up and look at them as needed. So you see how I'm expanding and collapsing things. So to collapse this, I just I hit this minus sign, and it will collapse it. Okay, and so now I can take things one at a time, and you see how much more manageable that looks. And now you see that this course consists of, because this course is well organized, it consists of a welcome from the director. It has a master checklist. There's a first module about the online doctoral learning landscape. There's a second module about library services and research, and then there's a feedback form. And then within these items, there's more stuff, and you can expand and collapse various pieces inside of there as well. And that's my golden nugget that I give to you as a way to keep yourself from getting totally overwhelmed. It's just about baby steps. The other thing I want to say about navigating the course, and this is not in depth, because what we're going to urge you to do in this course, especially in Module 1, is you go and watch the tutorials from UWG Online, and you'll be told to do that in here and how you do that. You go watch those and learn how to use CourseDen. There's more than what I'm showing you to using it, but my other tip then, so I'm just here to give you a couple quick tips. My other tip is that you make sure you go through the content. Don't just hop over and take a quiz without knowing how it's embedded in the arranged content. Don't just go to a Dropbox and read the assignment instructions and submit it. There could be context here, and that's what content hopefully will give you, is some kind of context, like why am I learning this? How does it relate to other things in the module? That kind of thing. So while you can access a lot of your things here that will give you grades, like the discussion board, the Dropbox, quizzes, you definitely want to make sure you know about the context in which these items appear, so be sure that you're aware of that. So learn how to use this content button, because that's probably how most of your content in a class is going to be delivered. Now, I did tell you I would talk more specifically about this particular course, and so I'll just quickly walk you through it. You do have a master checklist here. And the first thing you want to do, and I'll talk about the master checklist in a second, but the first thing you want to do is check out Dr. Willicks's welcome message there, and then head on over to the master checklist. You can hit the print button here, and you can print this out, but I've already told you what the main sections are going to be. You're going to learn about sort of an overview of online technologies, and then you're going to do some library activities to get you warmed up to that. And there's always a feedback survey there ready for you if you want to give feedback on how this course is going for you. So Module 1's got 3 sections. Be sure that you do expand them out, and I recommend that you go in order. I have a welcome video in there for me. Then I give you a checklist, and in the case of my checklist, the print button won't work because I built it in an outside thing. So what you can do there is click undock, and undock will pop it out here. Actually, you don't even have to click undock. You can actually hit Control P, or you can go up and do File, Print, and that should work fine to print this just fine. It's just for some reason the D2L one only works with the D2L authored things. So just be aware of that, but you can print this checklist out of here. If you have trouble doing it through the D2L frames, again, use the undock, see if that works better for you. See, it opens it up in a new tab. Okay. What else? Just got a variety of things, so just kind of go in order, I think, is the best idea. And then once you're done with my section, you can move on to library services. Honestly, you can do them in either order, whatever order you think you prefer, because library services has less to do with working in CourseDen and more to do with working in library. So you could conceivably do that first as well. All right, and the feedback form is down here. There's one more thing that I want to mention, and that is accessing courses through highly restrictive browsers. I believe that the Internet Explorer browser has some pretty restrictive settings sort of by default, because it always seems to have issues with logging in to CourseDen and accessing content. Or not always is maybe an extreme word, but it just frequently does. And I believe that it will right now when I try to get into this course. And I wanted to go ahead and log in and just see if it would happen. Okay, so I've logged in. I've gone to my home. Now I'm going to go into the course itself. Okay, it's not having any issues yet. I'm going to go to content. I'm going to check out some of this content. Okay, we've got a security warning popping up here. It says, do you want to view only the web page content that was delivered securely? This web page contains content that will not be delivered using a secure HTTPS connection, which could compromise the security of the entire web page. My advice to you is that you need to allow all of the web pages. Not everything that we put in D2L is going to be on an HTTPS connection, and that's like the kind of connection that you do your banking on. We're going to have web pages that are outside. So what will happen here is if you click yes, which seems intuitive, then you will be blocked from content in this course and future course. Yeah, it usually happens on a case-by-case basis, like a session-by-session basis. So you have this choice multiple times, like each day you come into work. But be careful on the security warning that comes with Internet Explorer. You would want to say no here so that it will actually display the content. All right, so I leave you to it. You want to start with the director's welcome, then head over, check out the master checklist, and then either begin with Module 1 or Module 2. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.